Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Madhavasta Sakhi Panchatattva Prahlad Nrsimha Bhagavan ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Jayaratam Deva Sarvadevim Vayasam Tato Jayam Pratyayet Nashtandrayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Namashoke Bhakirvati Nastiti. For reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God and unto Narayana Risi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, by regular attendance in the classes of the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. In loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. John. So, this morning we'll be covering a very nice section. It's after the battle. The boar is taking care of business. It's finished the demon, as we saw. And he's going to go back home. Even the boar goes back home, back to God. And the Lord himself. So let's read and then that section, and we'll cover specifically verse 33. 19th chapter. Shri might continue. After thus killing the most formidable demon Hiranyaksha, the Supreme Lord Hari, the origin of the boar species, returned to his own abode, where there is always uninterrupted festivals. What do you think about that? Sounds like Krishna house. From early morning to late at night. I don't know how late. I don't know how long we play video games upstairs. Or whatever's going on. The Lord was praised by all the demigods headed by Brahma. This is also what Mahaprabhu speaks about. He speaks about ever-increasing ocean of bliss. This is the nature of Harinam Sankirtan, but the movement of Lord Chaitanya's movement. Mahaprabhu's movement is prime benediction for humanity at large, which spreads the rays of benediction moon, increases the ocean of transcendental bliss,
and enable us to fully taste the nectar, for which we are always anxious. They are not sterile. These facts, these statements are not sterile. They are in a form of where's the continuous festival? Oh, there's it. Continuous, uninterrupted festival. That is the nature of Vaikuntha, sky, or the spiritual world. Uninterrupted festivals. We just finished the Damodar Lila. What do you think is going on in Goloka Vrindavan? In Goloka Vrindavan also, daily, as Krishna comes from pasturing grounds of Braja, when he leaves, he is the last one to be seen. He purposely stays back. So the separation is reduced from those who are staying back. But Maria showed, I know the neighboring gopis, but when they're returning, and the last thing they see is the clouds of Raja, Duli, Goduli, the dust of the clouds, and then they disappear. But when they come back, Krishna comes first. So again, for the purpose of that separation, it's reduced. So they sing first. And then all the gopas, they tell their stories. Because all the gopis they're eager to hear. What did Krishna do? What did you guys do all day? So as the gopas report to their mothers, Krishna's current friends report to their mothers, all the gopis, on the spot, they make all these wonderful songs based on what happened that day. And as they're churning butter and doing their house chores, they immerse into these songs of Krishna. Krishna's done this, Krishna's done that. So in that way, uninterrupted festivals and uninterrupted celebration goes on in a place where every word is a song, every step is a dance, and water is like nectar. Krishna plays his flute, his blooming lotus eyes, his beautiful hair bedecked with peacock feather, and a charming loveliness that enchants millions of cupids. Plays his flute that enchants everybody. So much so that all the moving things, they freeze. And when you're about to sneeze, you also when you're about to sneeze, you also freeze. It's called sneeze freeze. This is below. So Yamuna also stops. Also, the river Yamuna stops flowing, especially when he blows in his Vamshi flute. Vamshi flute is 2 feet long. It's a long one. The longest. There's also Mahavamshi. And there's 9 holes. And because it's long, this sound goes very far. Reaches far regions of Vaikuntha sky. So even all the demigods, they actually faint. When they hear Krishna's flute, they faint. And all the birds, they stop chirping. And they just hear. And just listen. And all the non-moving things like trees and stones and mountains, they start moving. Such is the enchanting sound of Krishna's flute. So is Venu, the short one, which is half a foot, 6 inch long, with 6 holes. Is Murli with 4 holes, which is a foot long, and then Vamshi, 2 feet long. When he calls his cows, he also uses Venu. Venu plays with one hand. So in this way, the music, the songs, the enchanting loveliness of Krishna accommodate the uninterrupted festivals. Because that's what the God does. He just has fun. And he invites everybody to join by a medium of Sankirtan movement. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki. Yoga Dharmanam Sankirtan Ki. Okay. Headed by Brahma. Yes. 32.
Maitreya continued. My dear Vidura, I have explained to you the personality of Godhead's coming down as the first boar incarnation and killing in a great fight a demon of unprecedented prowess, as if he were just a plaything. This has been narrated by me as I heard it from my predecessor, my spiritual master.
Krishna is killing demons, but in this age, in this movement of Harinam Sankirtan, he's also removing demons. But demons that are in our heart. He doesn't kill them, he
Makes them dance.
Yeah. He transforms them. Such is the power of Mahaprabhu.
Yeah.
He transforms coal into a diamond. Something that has no value and something value. That is the power of Mahaprabhu, the golden avatar. Jagai and Madhais have turned into great devotees.
I was a Jagai on my life.
Okay, your confession comes a little later. We'll hear about that soon. Yes, there is the beauty, there's the potency and the beauty of Mahaprabhu's movement. But nobody is left out. Nobody is left out. Everybody is included. All the Jagais and Madhais. Jagais and Madhais. Okay.
Sri Srila Goswami continued, my dear Brahmana, Kshata Vidura, the great devotee of the Lord achieved transcendental bliss by hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the authoritative source of the sage Kausharava, Maitreya, and he was very pleased.
Speak of hearing the pastimes of the Lord, his chest is marked with Srivatsa. People may take transcendental pleasure even in hearing of the works and deeds of devotees, whose fame is immortal.
Have you heard of Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita? So much nectar. It's not a book about Krishna. It's a book about Prabhupada. But because Prabhupada and devotees like Prabhupada carry Krishna in their heart, it becomes equally enchanting. Actually, even more enchanting. Because we see Krishna in action, in real time. New York, 1966, what was going on? People were talking about all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Suffering. Then Krishna Bhakta comes, and it becomes more interesting. It becomes a pastime. How Krishna appears even today. So we want Krishna to appear in our life, in our heart. It is not separated. It shouldn't be in any way as something that is superior or a concept. Get it, live it, and give it.
Just do it.
Yeah, Nike stole that from Prabhupada.
They definitely did. They definitely did. Yeah. Okay.
The personality of Godhead delivered the king of elephants, who was attacked by an alligator and who meditated on the lotus feet of the Lord. At that time, the female elephant who was accompanying him was crying, and the Lord saved them from impending danger.
What is the lila here discussed? Gajendra lila was attacked by an alligator, who also was benefited because he was touching the feet of the elephant, who was offering
Oh yeah.
being in service to Krishna. So even the gator got benefited,
Got liberated.
although he was inimical. So Krishna takes the best. Oh, you're touching his feet. Okay.
What grateful soul is there who would not render his loving service to such a great master as his personality of Godhead? The Lord can be easily pleased by spotless devotees who resort exclusively to him for protection, though the unrighteous man finds it hard to propitiate him.
What does propitiate mean? Anybody?
Somebody Google it.
Huh? Did you look it up or you think that's? If you think that means you don't know.
My mom would say right now, just Google.
Yes?
Bridget.
Ubacha.
Appreciate when are you getting the favor of the God spirit of person by doing something that pleases
John.
Appreciate is to do something to please. Right?
We appreciate each other. Servant A, servant B. I had Prabhupada say in the introduction when he said servant A, servant B, servant C, servant D, servant A, and so on and so forth.
Okay. You all got that? What appreciate means?
O Brahmanas, anyone who hears, chants, or takes pleasure in the wonderful narration of the killing of the Dakshadina by the Lord, who appeared as the firstborn in order to deliver the world, is at once relieved of the results of sinful activities, even the killing of a Brahmana.
This most sacred narrative confers extraordinary merit, wealth, fame, longevity, and all the objects of one's desire. On the field of battle, it promotes the strength of one's vital organs and organs of action. One who listens to it at the last moment of his life is transferred to the feet of the Lord. Oh dear son,
And now we're going to take a closer look to 33. Sutavacha. Iti kosharavakyatam. Iti kosharavakyatam. Iti kosharavakyatam. Ashrutya bhagavatam. Ashrutya bhagavatam. Shatanandanam param vedhe. Shatanandam param vedhe. Shatanandam param vedhe. Mahabhagavato Dija. Mahabhagavato Dija. Sutta Uvacha. Iti kosharavakyatam. Ashrutya bhagavatam. Shatanandam param vedhe. Mahabhagavato
Sutavacha
Itikausharavakyaktam
Iti Sasharavatam Ashurya Bhagavatam
Shatanandam Paramvete
Satanandam Param Deve Mahabhagavato Vijam Sudavacha Iti Kosharavakyatam Ashurya Bhagavatam Shatanandam Param Deve Mahabhagavato Vijam Sudavacha Iti Kosharavakyatam Ashurya Bhagavatam Shatanandam Param Deve Mahabhagavato Vijam Sudavacha Iti Korsavavakyatam Ashudya Bhagavatam Satananam Param Deve Mahabhagavato Dija.
Anybody else? Okay, if I work together. Sutta
Goswami Vacha said, Iti thus, Ujjvala from Ashura, having heard Bhagavatam, narration about Lord, Sata, Virya, Ananda, bliss, Param, transcendental, Leve, achieve, Mahabharata, the great devotee, Bija, O Ramana.
Translation, Sri Sutta Goswami continued.
My dear Brahmana, Sata Vidur, the great devotee of the Lord, achieved transcendental bliss by hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the authoritative source of the sage Kusava Madhurya, and he was very pleased.
Here's report. Okay. Thank you.
If anyone wants to derive transcendental pleasure by hearing the pastimes of the Lord, he must hear from the authoritative source, as explained here. Maitreya heard the narration from his bona fide spiritual master, and Vidura also heard from Maitreya. One becomes an authority simply by presenting whatever he has heard from his spiritual master, and one does not accept a bona fide spiritual master, or one who does not accept a bona fide spiritual master cannot be an authority. This is clearly explained here. If one wants to have transcendental pleasure, he must find a person with authority. It is also stated in the Bhagavatam that simply by hearing from an authoritative source, with the ear and the heart, one can relish the pastimes of the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible.
So what does that mean to you? What does that mean to hear with one's ear and the heart? You catch that? Oh, was that a hand? Kind of.
Maybe the yeah, not just let it go in one ear and out the other, but actually let it internalize and then
Anybody else? What does that mean to you to hear with one's ear and one's heart? How do you hear from heart?
From the
Or with heart? Yes.
I would say that.
Can you?
I don't know, I would say that when we hear from the heart, we can feel when we hear somebody we love and we want to hear more about that person. We actually not listening from the ear, actually, we're listening from the heart because we love that person so much, we want to hear, and we are eager, and the eagerness comes from the heart, not from the ear. The ear is just the instrument for listening. But I think we can relate to things that we love in this world, you know. Even people love their cat or dog and they went for a week and they came back and say, what did my dog did? You know, like even
Yeah.
that is a little bit
They
of that
want-
heart opening, you know.
They
So
want to hear all about it.
yeah, so and I don't hear with the ears, they hear really with the heart. So.
And so you can have the best source. Here the point is stressed that hearing from the right source, authorized source. You can have the best source, but it's like any transmission. If you can have a best radio station, best radio station or transmitter. But if you don't have a right receiver, you don't have a right radio, you know, you're not on the right frequency, just static, maybe just like power of the radio sound. There'll be no transmission. Best radio station with all the shows and podcasts and music, but simply you're going to be hearing what? Yeah, because and the radio might not be there, but even the radio is there, the right frequency. So that's tuning in with not just our ears, but hearing its heartbeat. It has to do with eagerness, having interest. And we'll talk more about that. Yes, Scott.
It comes from the authoritative source, and the super souls within the heart. You can experience the pastime.
Say again?
You can experience the pastime.
Yes, you can enter the lila, like Rupa Goswami was hearing his japa. There was heartbeat, and he was meditating. Well, not meditating. He entered the pastime where he saw Krishna doing a little prank with Radharani. And then he laughed, and then somebody thought he was laughing at them, and the whole thing was lost. Such is the power of Vaishnava Aparada. It can just sever everything. And we lose that transmission. It's like smashing your radio. Finished. Mad elephant smashed the radio. Yeah. Oh no, you. Here's a.
I was gonna add that before the hearing happens, the respect and appreciation should happen. So when someone sees devotees in the arena, something wakes up in the heart. If it doesn't, they will, instead of while listening, they will just laugh or argue. They won't be able to open the heart. So some sort of respect and appreciation for some sort of purity, certain standard, the joy should happen first, and then the frequency takes place as it flows downwards. So if we accept that, okay, this person maybe is somewhere where I want to be, then I can listen.
Looking for that 108 frequency. With some appreciation, some respect, some faith. So that's Shraddha.
108, 109.
The Shraddha, everything starts with faith.
I was just thinking, we read in the verses about how hearing these pastimes can clear sins away, even the sin of killing a Brahmana. And then you just mentioned this pastime about how dangerous Vaishnava aparad is. I was just thinking, what's more of an aparad than killing someone? And so I couldn't make sense of those two.
How would one be pardoned from killing a Brahmana?
Yeah. Or is the Brahmana doesn't do it?
Well, that's a good question. That is a whole class.
In short, the power of forgiveness is always great. Yeah, the power of that is the whole dialogue between Draupadi and Yudhishthira.
I was just
Okay, no, I was saying. I'm glad they're on the same frequency.
yeah.
Yeah, Draupadi was glorifying forgiveness. over justice. Justice cannot really be administered without sufficient love. That was Prabhupada's winning argument. But anyway, that's a big topic. That's in short. That's a big topic. Anybody else on this hearing with not just ear but heartbeat? Yes, Mama.
I was just thinking, when you're hearing from the ear, I think it's like mechanical. And then when you hear from the heart, it becomes more personal.
Yeah, yeah. We need to make it personal. Yeah, when I'm hearing this, what does this mean to me? I always like to do that, to remind myself and others. And as I'm reading this, I should not read like a parrot. Parrot can also learn the shlokas and memorize things. It becomes mechanical reciting and mechanical hearing. But unless we ask that question, what does this mean to me? As I recite and as I hear, it becomes personal, because everybody is in a different place on their spiritual journey, on that path. And as we process things, of which one of the biggest things is the processing the pain, and we'll hear about what happens when pain doesn't get processed. We'll continue reading.
Otherwise, it is not possible. Sanatana Goswami therefore has especially warned that one should not hear anything about the personality of the Lord from the lips of a non-devotee. Non-devotees are considered to be like serpents. As milk is poisoned by the serpent's touch, so, although the narration of the pastimes of the Lord is as pure as milk, when administered by serpent-like non-devotees, it becomes poisonous. Not only does it have no effect on transcendental pleasure, but it is dangerous also. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has warned us that no description of the pastime of the Lord should be heard from the Mayavad or impersonalist school. He has clearly said, Mayavadi Vasya Shunari Haya Sarva Nacha. If anyone hears the Mayavadis' interpretation of the pastime of the Lord, or their interpretation of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, or any other Vedic literature, then he is doomed. Once one is associated with impersonalists, he can never understand the personal feature of the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. Suta Goswami was speaking
Should
to
we pause that? That was a lot. That was a lot. Hearing from the Mayavadi was like drinking poison. So what am I doing here, sitting, talking? How does one distinguish Mayavadi Katha from Vaishnava Katha?
I was heard from Gajinsu Maharaj. He said he was walking somewhere. Really was in India, and there was like a big gathering. There was this Brahmanas talking about most beautiful pastimes, spoken so professional, so beautiful, such emotion. When he concluded his talk, he said, "And you are that." That's the conclusion here. And you are the Krishna.
See, that's the danger. It's all good. Then one big cup, just one drop of poison, everything becomes toxic, dangerous, life-threatening. Yes.
This happened a few times where like I'll be around some like hippie circles or something, and I'll tell someone that I am like a Hare Krishna, and then they'll want to tell me like the pastime of Krishna. And I'm always just like, they always like want to connect, and I'm not, and it's like, yeah, it's just hard to discern. Like, okay, maybe it's good for them to talk about it, but at the same time, I don't want to hear some of this guided like story of Krishna. Who knows where they got it from?
Usually I do this.
Right.
Jai. And I walk off. I go, Hare Krishna.
You say Jai?
That goes.
I say why? I say why? So why would somebody think like that they are Krishna, and will also address others as such? We are godly, though. We are godly, sample God. But the difference between us and Krishna is obvious. We don't maintain everybody else. Nitya nityanam chaitanas chaitananam eko bahunam yo vidadatana. We are all nityas, just like Krishna is. Nitya chaitanas chaitananam. There's one nitya and many nityas. That one nitya is Krishna. Many nityas, that's us. The difference between eko bahunam, that one can maintain all others. And this is the ultimate Mayavadi argument. Can you maintain everybody else? You cannot maintain hardly even your family, especially nowadays during the shutdown. So it's a silly idea, but why? Why would somebody always, it makes no sense logical fallacy. But why would somebody, I hinted earlier, unprocessed pain. I don't want to surrender. Servant? When I heard first time servant, I was wrong way. What do I mean servant? I don't want to serve. Everybody wants to be on top of the game, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Did
The place where you came from.
Everybody.
You got to show toughness, right?
Yeah, like especially when I would do a lot of Krishna Katha, and I would be preaching to them, and I tell them like, I would tell them, Sarva Dharma Pariyajna Mami come surrender. Krishna says surrender. They're like, what? You're like, surrender to who? I'm like, Pada Pada Praptam and Krishna. And like, this is how you receive nectar. And they like the idea because they buck authority, so in there all the time. So let alone hear from Vaishnava himself. You know what I mean? Like,
so what is it that makes people? I just saw graffiti there behind public. It's a new one. No gods, no kings, no gods, no masters. What is it that makes us rebel against authority?
because we're the Jivatma. We're this. I think I read in the Gita or Brahma Samhita where we're the superior energy to the inferior energy. Maya is inferior, we're superior. So how do we try to control everything? Remember, it was one Taco Tuesday, and I was talking about how when I was little, I used to play video games, and my dad, he knows this. Like I used to throw controllers and get mad. My mom knows this too. Like, I used to throw the controller, and he said, "Oh, you're getting mad at the controller." You know what I mean? It's we try to, human beings, we have it's narcissistic nature in psychology. Like we try to micromanage everything, even the things we can't even reach. Like I remember there's times in prison where like I want to go to a service so bad or like a call out. I didn't lie, get a little like and then I realized like, oh my, like I can't get them to do what they want to do. You know what I mean? Why not?
There's no effect. Only means being effective.
Only means being affected, and then everybody would come up to me and be like, "Oh, Henry, you mad, huh?" Like they laugh at me because I'm in the front and trying to go to service. Like I'm just trying to pray, like you know what I mean. And so many guys in there, they on the phone, they get so mad at their people that they can't get money on their account. It's always something. When they come to me like, "Oh, Hindu man, my people tripping," and I'm like, well, "How are they tripping?" I'm like, "Oh man, because they ain't send it on time." But you can't control that. Why human beings have the tendency to want to control everything like they're God. Like they're not God. You can't control this reality. This reality is like I used to work at FedEx, and there was like a conveyor belt. You know, you put the boxes on the conveyor belt. My question to y'all is, who's moving the boxes? Are the boxes moving themselves or the conveyor belt? The conveyor belt, exactly. So why do the boxes say, "Oh, I want to move"? And do they shuffle? And no, they just that's how this reality is perfectly like it. Everything's moving upon his will. So some things are out of our control. Krishna wills it, Krishna don't. It's like you're not in control. Try swimming up a stream. You'll definitely drown.
I have more questions for you, but let's do it justice of finishing the purport.
Swami is speaking to the sages headed by Shaunaka, and therefore he addressed them in his verse as Dvija, twice born. The sages assembled in Naimisharanya, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Sutta Goswami, were all brahmanas, but to acquire the qualifications of a brahmana is not everything. Merely to be twice born is not perfection. Perfection is attained when one hears the pastimes and activities of the Lord from a bona fide source.
Okay, back to Alex. How did you manage being put away there for such a long time to, like, it seems like simultaneously, be kind, be a servant, but at the same time that boundary, or not boundary, that front of toughness?
Well, we're in the Vedic times, they were Kshatriyas. They were Krishna conscious, like Arjuna, Bhima, Yudhishthira. Sometimes they had to be tough. You know what I mean? Like set boundaries. Like, what I learned in prison, like in a very wise old man that I love here, and he taught me this. He said they're like cat. You feed them once, never. They keep coming. Say no. And I had to learn my no's, my yeses, but at the same time, be as merciful as possible. Because when you tell guys no in a way, in a vibration that is distorted, they're gonna be like, you're gonna what you man, they'll storm off, and I can see them in the day when they keep staring at me. Mean looks. Like
so even while setting the boundaries, you have to show respect and time.
Gotta show respect, but in a level to where it's assertive and it's authoritative in a way, not like oh, that's a bad word, tyrant. No, like in a way where it's like they don't see you as a, because they won't stop until you say like no. Like I said no. It's like dealing with kids. Like when you like, or I don't have children, but I definitely help my family with younger kids in the family, and like if you don't be assertive in your nose, they're just gonna keep, oh, can I? You gotta be like, no. I said no. Now go. You know what I mean? Go watch TV. Or that's how I used to do some of the dudes in there. Like if you don't tell them no in a specific way, they'll look at you and they'll try to see angle in. Like, oh, yeah. You know what I mean? If I ask him this way, maybe he might know.
And then if you set the boundary in a way that will be
respectful. It's all about respect.
No, but if you don't set it in that way, there'll be a heartbreak that will make them rebel.
Yeah, they'll definitely
that's the cause of rebellion.
Yeah.
Not delivering enough
mercy.
Yeah, with enough mercy.
Yeah, you gotta have like a balance, like, and so many times I learned the hard way in there. And I've had to like go back. I've had screaming arguments with people and then see them on the compound and be like, hey, I'm really sorry. And like in them type of environments, people don't hear that a lot. So when they hear that, they see that as form like oh, so you putting the white flag up like
a weakness.
Yeah. Yeah. So like you gotta come like, and I learned like to first I tricked them kind of. Like when I see him, I'm like, hey, check it out. And they'd be like, what's up? And I'll be like, hey, I'm really sorry. And they thought they're coming for an argument or a confrontation. I see them like tying up their boots and
you prep them.
Yeah, but it's really a trick.
You prep them for kindness.
Yeah, my friend.
Because ultimately everybody's crying for that.
Right. My friend in there that he reads Bhagavad Gita and we meet in school and I teach him Bhagavad Gita like every day. I told him mandatory bring your Gita every day. Okay, you know what I mean? But one thing I would show him in practical way, I would show him that I'm like, hey, watch this. Hey, tap him, do chest. Hey, check it out, bro. And he come in the room, I'll be like, hey, sit down. hey, can we talk? Can we have a conversation? Yeah, what's up? And they sit down. They got to bring a brother. They're so dramatic. They bring a brother as a witness. And I'm like, hey, I just want to apologize. And they get really shocked. I'm like, no, man, you're cool, bro. I'm like, yeah, man, I didn't, get like that. So don't be like me. Get it on the first time, because if you don't, now you gotta, I always call it the apology prep, like prepping for Shabbat. You know what I mean? Like you gotta build it up, and it's a whole theatrical thing. So be merciful on the first try. I mean, we can't get things on the first try, but try, please. It could be pretty rough afterwards.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So in conclusion, these Mayavadi tendencies, this toxic or poison-like ideas are there due to a world that is bereft of kindness, really. It's a barren land, that it's loveless, it's cruel, it's calculated, it's full of pain. So the solution is just pumping out that same medicine, pumping out the medicine that Mahaprabhu came to give. Jeev Jago, Gora Chandra Bole. It's in that song about Thakur. He has come to bring the medicine. What is the medicine?
It's like
kindness,
kindness
and compassion, But we gotta be smart to prep the environment.
Yeah.
So it can be appreciated and heard, not just with ears, but also heartbeat. So that's our job. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my wrap up for the time we had this morning. Any add-ons?
Thank Dr. Alex. I think that was a very nice example of how to not only hear, because with hearing you can just react, but when you do it with the heart, then you put your feelings into it and you make it more personal. Then it becomes more powerful. And this is what my bodies are losing, because all they have is a bunch of zeros. But one is missing.
I had so much more questions for Alex, and we've only scratched the surface. So I'm hoping
I would like to.
next time we can also sit together and I can ask more questions.
Can I add a point with the one last thing? Oh, it's a breakfast time? Oh. I am getting hungry. In the hearing from the authority, the Padapata Praptam, remember in Bhagavad Gita, I have it right here, Tad Vidhi Pranipratina Prashina Sevaya. That's really important, because a lot of people in the world, they're reading Bhagavad Gita, but it's not hitting them. I told a friend of mine, a best friend of mine, Pedro, shouts out to Pedro, peace be upon him. I told him, read Bhagavad Gita, and if you have questions, please come to me. If you go to anybody else in here, they're not really gonna know. You know what I mean? It's disciplic succession is so important. This is why I love the Brahma Sampradaya, because in the Brahma Sampradaya, the disciplic succession, the chain hasn't been broken. It's spiritual master to the student becomes spiritual master, and then it gets passed on the line. Oh, it keeps going. When does it ever end? I don't want it to end. So the authority is really important. Surrender to the authority. That's what Krishna said. And be submissive. Don't be challenging in spirit, and just listen. The more you listen, the more you're like a sponge, and the more you take your brain and get soaked up. So you can clean the soul after the plate. And
I like that point actually, and this can be a final wrap up. That we have to develop some kind of affinity to hear. And in the verse you mentioned in Gita, it's not just inquiry, but service. as we approach the source. It's both inquiry and service, combination of those two. Develop affinity here. That's also in Bhagavad. As one develops affinity to hear, the translation, both twice born stages, by serving those who are completely free from all vice. Great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity to hear the message of us. So we can't just, if there's some problem in hearing, that means there's a problem in service or service attitude. So once you fix that, then automatically it becomes hard to hear. Okay, Jai, Carmen is here. Grantara, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Guru Premanande.
Jai. Breakfast keys.
Bhagavad Gita